All right, here we are.
What were we talking about? We were talking about location of what baseline is, and again, the reason that the Upper Haight-Ashbury baseline community is the best representative of baseline is for two quick reasons. One, it's the first community analyzed under baseline economics. No other homeless community has been analyzed under that. So that makes the Upper Haight community very special. And that's because not some writer shows up to write about it, but because they demonstrated the uniformity of thought, that it was easy for me to grasp and see the conformity of thought. Not as conformists, but how it conformed across each one of their own anecdotal experiences. Each one had seen what Dinsnow was, but they couldn't describe it in a way that was unified, okay? But it was all common. So by listening to the community, I began to realize that there were these components, that there were these earth mechanisms. Dinsnow, natural providership, these things didn't have names out here at all, but people lived under the umbrella of its economic theory in the same way that they said it's about to rain and there are clouds and we can all agree it's time to do something, right? So the interesting thing that got me interested in this story was I'd become homeless, legitimately. It was a big problem at a house here in San Francisco, Potrero Hill. No one died, but my renter history. And so I decided it was a good time for me to do something with that as a book. I had just completed another one called All Monsters Attack. And out here, first, the impression was very stereotypical, and I was very hard on it. And you realized how much you have left of yourself in status, which is the opposite pole of baseline. There's baseline, and there's status. I'll explain that shortly again in another clip. That when you come out here, you see that, and you see those changes. So it took me about 3 or 4 months to realize that the original copy I was writing was pretty sloppy, sort of like Daily Show copy. America the book, stereotypes, trying to kind of be funny with it, trying to make sense of it. Maybe let's have a travel log kind of thing. I put together like an almanac. This is where the original idea, by the way, for the American Homeless Companion came from, the title. It's probably the only thing that survives from the initial copy, the title. But we were going to do it that way until baseline economics developed before me, which it will before anyone that comes out to baseline. Just like a black and white photograph in a developer tray. It's things that are around you, things that you did not know were there, will simply begin to appear. And this usually takes 3, 4 to 6 months in, depending on who you are. So
I've been having that experience here in San Francisco in general.
Starting
to see how things work, starting to get a picture, starting to see how I can interact with it, seeing the common thread between different people's stories and all that.
Yeah, well, see, you that line is easy for you to cross. A lot of people from status to baseline, it's a very difficult line. They see it as a straight line because they look at it as homelessness. But the broadcast of baseline economics is what you're feeling. You're still striking that this couldn't happen anywhere. And we make that clear in the book, that the earth economics that are below baseline and the mechanics of natural providership and Dinsnow, unproven but certainly exist everywhere. The grouping together of baseline in tighter communities and increasing civil rights, property rights, and then the movement to free natural whole foods and shelter. It sounds like a very green, hippie statement, but a whole food is an apple that's not prepared with anything but an apple. So free whole foods and shelter, and not, I want that place over there. No. Just right to have shelter, for me to build it myself if I need to, where no one else's shelter is. Those are the two rights that we look like in baseline economics.
So what was it that, so you became homeless, and did you immediately see that as an opportunity to explore this world, or did you struggle with that at first, or how did you get into the spot where you were like, I'm going to write about this experience and really go into it?
Okay, it's a great question.
it cool if I ask a question like that?
It's excellent. Attitude is everything when you enter baseline. Your attitude before you enter baseline is typically going to be the attitude that you have and you carry with you, if not for the first couple of weeks, possibly for the first year, 6 months. I came in with a lot of disenchantment and anger, and now that's a perfect welcome mat for baseline, whose sister emotions, intoxication, rage, also make perfect entrances to baseline. The status people that entered baseline that I've seen since I've been here that don't embrace baseline, that don't cross what's called the crossroads of commitment, which is a point in baseline where you must say, for me to satisfy myself and for me to get the most from what's around me, I'm going to have to make some commitment to it. I can't always be looking at the door. Oh, I won't be homeless long. Oh, I'll get better. Oh, no. No, the crossroads of commitment are where you go, I'm a baseline. This is it. This is where I live. This is my home. So the folks that came in and keep stuff on their trucks, wrapped up, drive around in circles, and keep their luggage with them, like they're waiting for some car to show up and take them away. You can ask them too. Say, Donald, what are you waiting for? It's like, I won't be here long. So you see these guys clawing, staying there. They never really become happy. They never really become baseliners. They're sort of in, that neverland between status and baseline where they haven't accepted it yet. And they should. But it's such a powerful message from status to avoid this. And so we were talking about baseline, and this is a good reason to bring in our graph again, where we have baseline and status. So baseline is not just a state of mind, but also is the lowest layer of the economic system. This can all be any layer of status you want. Richard Branson, name your other lower status level person. Don't want to name any names on that one. Branson loves being named. So status is the level of also the social safety net. It's where the social safety net is located. We don't like to accept that, and we don't see it because we want a social safety net that keeps us at the point we are at our status level. And we say, well, that's what Europe has. We don't want everyone fall down here. But Europe also has one big middle class. See? So this safety net is there where kind of everyone else is. We forget about our own model. And we forget about it because we have never described it like baseline and status. Baseline is below the poverty level. It's actually below it. It's lower than the poverty level. How is that possible? It's because we are a society that starts from one. Okay? We're a society that cannot accept loss. And that is a major message in baseline economics. We're a society that cannot accept loss. Baseline as a zero component below one, poverty. We also have not created the number zero yet because we are a society that cannot accept loss. When you fall into baseline, into homelessness, everything that we have geared for it is, I'll get better here. I can do this when I get out of this. When I get out of this here, when I stop being homeless here, I'll go through that program if I'll do this, but then I'll feel, oh, I don't have a P.O. box, but I'll do this if it's all, when I get here, I'll be better. It's nothing involved with a choice to stay here. Right? Again, society that cannot accept loss. Now, there's vast detail in what I just said and on how our structure allows more freedom and more visibility at baseline than anywhere else in status. And I'll let you know when you want to talk about that, if you want to talk about it in another episode.
So what do you mean by visibility?
Well, visibility to what happens, when you come out to baseline, and the things that happen in your perception. And
give me a couple examples.
Let me go into that. I actually made a couple of things that'll help you to take this. So,
cool. So you got some notes here?
Yeah, you want to start a new reel?
Sure, here we go. Why don't you slate for the camera one more time?
Yeah, let me,
This is, tell me your name and who you are again.
Oh, come on, I gotta figure this.
Well, just for the end of each video.
Yeah, it's Dan Neel. Yeah. Dan Neel. Oh, do you want this? Do you want this acted? Or do you want this just? Yeah.
No, just tell me. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't hear if you want to just tag. You want to spoken. My name is Dan Neel. I'm the author of The American Homeless Companion, and I live at Baseline in San Francisco.
Cool. Thank you.